The Gold Mine.
What's happening? What's happening? We back at the Gold Mine today. I got a special guest. I got my boy Crackalack. What's happening, Crack?
How's it going, man? I'm good.
What's good, man? So, introduce yourself, man. Let them know who you is.
All right, so basically, my journey's been about 16 years so far. And in the very beginning, I started off as an artist myself. So I started making beats, making songs, recording and mixing the songs, having someone shoot my videos, and I learned how to edit videos. And then after about 16 albums of doing that, 3 group albums. So then when I was about 22, I found out I was gonna have a kid. You know, that's when shit gets real. And again, I knew I didn't find my voice, and they say the hardest thing in music is finding your voice. And to put it into perspective, like if I was in the studio with Lil Wayne, this is what I always say, and I was playing one of my songs, I'd constantly be like looking over my shoulder, seeing if he's nodding his head, seeing if he likes it. But if I was playing one of my beats, I was way more confident in my beats. I could like lead the room, and I would know my beats are good. And so around that time, I kept any song I recorded. I was driving myself crazy, wanted to redo a week later, redo a month later. So I decided, let me focus on the business part, be the behind the scene guy, and all the services that I was doing for myself as an artist. Let me just go full time with that. And honestly, I never looked back. So here we are today. I own a very successful recording studio in Michigan, Crack House Recording Studio. I now own a $1CDduplication.com. It's a online CD duplication company. I co-own a clothing line, World Legacy Clothing. I'm doing the YouTube tutorials, vlogs, beat making videos. My goal is 100,000 subscribers this year. I also have my own podcast, Free Game with Crack, and just trying to grow and build and expand every single day.
So what's up, man? How old you said you was when you started rapping?
15.
15. And how long did that last?
So 15 till I was 22. So about 7 years. So in them 7 years, man, you know how like you can relate to this. We both have studios, we both make beats, we're both machines, and you get the people that say, oh man, if I knew how to make beats, all I would do is make beats. If I had my own studio, all I would do is sit in the studio. And it's like, we actually do that shit. But most people, if they were put in that position, they wouldn't do that. But that's what I did every single day for years. And up until I was 22.
That's what's up. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get Crackalack on this show, is because we're so similar, like you said, we're like machines. Like we both make beats. I rap, I still rap, but he used to rap. We're both engineers, we both mix, we both master, we both film, we both edit. So that's, I felt like it was only right that I had him on the show. I felt like this would be an interesting conversation. Plus, I have a lot of knowledge, you got a lot of knowledge. I'm sure we could spread, drop a few gems during this show. But I definitely had to have you on the podcast as one of the guests.
How old were you when you started?
Well, my journey started when I was 3 years old, when my father started me on drums. My father's a drummer and my mother's a pianist. They both graduated from Berkeley in Boston for music. So both of my parents graduated from Berkeley. My father was a drummer, my mother's a pianist. My dad started me on the drums like at the age of 3. And he was he had me doing drums like every day, for a long time. And he would just teaching me every day. He would have me play like classic rock and roll. I learned how to read drums, how to play drums. He put me in the band every time I was in school. I was in the band in middle school, high school. I won like awards for playing drums during, doing competitions and shit like that. And I also learned how to play the piano, not as much as the drums, but I learned how to read some piano and play piano as well. So that's where my journey started. Then when I turned about, I think I was like, I grew up, I was born and raised in Lauderdale Lakes in Broward County, Florida. For all y'all that don't know where that's at, you can look it up. But that's where I grew up. I was born and raised there till about 11. Once I turned about 11, I ended up moving to Coconut Creek with my grandparents for the time being. So when I was 11, I met my homeboy Derek, aka Sleazeball, and I always looked up to him. He was a couple years older than me, and I started hanging out. We was cool, and I just noticed like he kind of introduced me to hip hop. Like up until then, I wasn't really like listening to music too much. I was out playing, riding my bike and shit, and playing drums and piano and shit, learning that. But once I met him, he introduced me to the whole hip hop. Every day I'd see him, he'd have a CD player in his hand, listening to another CD. It'd be Wu-Tang, it'd be No Limit. Like he introduced me to all of that shit.
How old were you then?
I was 11 at that time.
Okay, yeah.
So when I was 11 years old, this is when Wu-Tang Forever dropped. So when Wu-Tang Forever dropped, I was like 11. That's kind of when Master P dropped Ghetto D as well, and he put me on those, and like that shit changed my life. Like I was a hardcore Wu-Tang fan. That was the first rap album I ever bought, was Wu-Tang Forever. And then I got into the whole No Limit shit with Master P and Ghetto D. So once I got into it, my boy was like, yo, you play drums, you got a piano, why don't you start making beats? Because he used to rap too, like he could freestyle, and that shit would amaze me. Like I'd be at his house, and he'll just fucking freestyle about anything. Like I remember one day I was at his crib, and he had a shelf filled with movies, and he started from the first movie all the way to the last movie and freestyled and made the shit rhyme with every fucking movie, and that shit blew my mind. I was like, yo, how the fuck does he do that shit? So at this time, I didn't even know how to put a rap together, but I was musically inclined. I could play the drums. I was okay at the piano, and I had a drum set at the house, and my mother had her electric keyboard at the house. So once my boy told me, yo, you should start making beats, it kind of got my gears running. I was like, you know what? Let me try it. I didn't even know if I was interested in it or not. I loved hip hop, but I didn't know if I wanted to make beats. So I just started trying. I started messing around with my mom's keyboard. And what I started off doing was I started like trying to copy other people's beats.
Yeah.
Like if there was a song that I really liked, I would try to dissect it and try to figure out the instruments and all that shit that they was using. So that's how I started, just kind of copying other people's beats. Then I got into it and I bought like a Dr. 808 Roland or some shit like that. It was like a drum machine.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started just like, I had a tape recorder. I'd have to hit record, and then I'd have to play my programmed beat on the drums and then play my melodies live on the keyboard. That's how I started making beats. And then once I got into that, I started trying, I started practicing and trying to learn how to put raps together, and that's where my shit started. I was probably like I said, 11 years old when I started the beats. I was probably like 12 when I started just putting my first raps together.
Do you feel like being in band and playing the drums helped like level you up versus the other average producer?
To be honest, everything I learned was from my dad as far as the drums.
Okay.
So he taught me everything, and he was real strict on me. Like I barely went out. I went out to play, but I was more in the house playing drums. So he really he groomed me and taught me really well. And once I started getting into the school bands, that was just kind of like some novice type shit. Like
Okay.
I was way above that. So it was good. The experience is good, and you do learn things, but I think that my father took me like way, he like surpassed all of that shit. But he just wanted me to be in it. The high school band is a little different because you actually gotta, have technique and skill when it comes to the drums. Like I was like one of the head drummers of the marching band in high school.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
I think what gives me and you the edge too versus like I'll say like let's say the modern young 16-year-old bedroom producer is when we started. Like nowadays, you can go to YouTube and you can find a tutorial on everything. So like how you were saying, you had to do the tape recorder with the software, and it just shows that we had to really want it. There was no information out there, and we had to figure that shit out for so many years. It's like the dedication. Our dedication was tested a lot more because there wasn't all of that damn information out there, and I feel like today a lot of people are lazy.
Back when me and you was trying to figure this shit out, everything was a secret.
Exactly. Now there's fucking 100 YouTube channels that have tutorials walking you through step by step everything.
Trust me. Yeah, I've been on YouTube a lot. I've been trying to master Premiere like how I master Pro Tools. Like I just been on that shit every day, every night, learning different shit. And
Yeah.
here I am. I mean, I've edited probably 5 music videos before during
Hmm.
during the process of the last 10 years or so. So I was already kind of familiar with Premiere, but I've been going in on that YouTube recently. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, shit, even just like social media content, are you the one that's making like all the memes and beat making cook up videos that you post?
Yeah, I've been doing all that shit.
Yeah, see, that's kind of how I got into editing music videos. It was like doing the more simple, here, let me learn how to edit a video by doing like, I think it was people paid me to do like their sports highlight tapes. So I'm just taking all the clips of them and I'm cutting it, like pretty much trimming a clip and then lining it up with the music. And then that led to a simple beat making video. Then that led to editing simple vlogs and then like in studio performances and then actual music videos. So it's kind of like everyone starts somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's pretty much how I learned. Just fucking with the shit. And I feel like there's no better way than to just be self-sufficient. If you're self-sufficient, you ain't gotta wait on nobody. You don't have to explain nobody what's in your head and how you want it done. Like that's kind of why I got into being an engineer. Is I was a rapper going to other people's studios, paying for studio time, and I was never in love with the sound that I was getting. I wasn't in love with the mix. I didn't know certain words or certain terms. But now that I know it, all I do is make money from this shit now.
Mhm. Yeah, and another thing is you get to use yourself. You get to spoil yourself and use you as like a walking billboard. So you need to put out as much music and content as you can. So you make your own beats, you're recording, mixing your own songs, putting the content out there. Then people are like, "Yo, your shit's fire," and they hear Gold Rush Productions and on the beat. Like, I love your beats. How much do you charge for beats? And that's just from you putting out your own damn music. And then your quality's good as hell. How much would you charge to record and mix my song? That was the same process with my journey too.
Yeah, a lot of times I do get people hitting me up like, yo, I like the quality of your shit, whether it's my video or my song or my beats or whatever. So yeah, that definitely helps. And I feel like being a one-man army like me and you also, it helps you get into certain places that certain other people would never be able to get in. Like the only reason that I was dealing with Trick Daddy is because I made fire beats and I had fire hooks, and that's kind of what
Hmm.
got me in. And then I ended up on this album as an artist. I got signed as an artist and a producer. And then even at Flow Riders, where I had brought you over, like being a producer made me valuable and being an engineer made me valuable over there.
Yeah, I think every artist should have one, at least one other skill or talent that they have. So like, if you're an artist but you also do photography and you got a camera, okay, well that can be the other thing that you bring to the table that'll get you in certain doors. Or like you making beats and doing engineering. Um, being the with me being the cameraman, a lot of times that was a plug. Like
Yeah, just
even
just
with,
having the camera alone will get you indoors, like,
hmm,
because everybody needs their shit recorded and documented.
right.
Yeah, man. Definitely important. All you artists out there is definitely important, like crackalack said, to have at least one other skill than just rapping. Like, you gotta have another skill other than trapping. Besides
Yeah.
your rapping. You know what I mean?
It'll save you thousands of dollars along the way too. Like think about how much money you saved by
And
doing your
made.
own recording and mixing and
Right.
made on top of that. But
Right, right. We saving and making. So just add all that up and total that shit.
yeah.
Yeah, this music game has fed me, it's clothed me, it's paid my bills. I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars in this game. So you could definitely live off of this shit, you know. This is to all the artists out there, because I know crackalack, you eat off of this shit. This is all you do. You don't have a job, just like me. You know, I don't work a 9 to 5. This is all I do. I don't know when my next check is gonna come. You know, I think that's another reason why we work so hard and we stay so consistent, because we have to.
Yeah, I learned a long time ago that I have a lot of wants and I correlated the wants with works. So if you want a lot out of life, you have to work a lot in life to get that. And I understand that, so I sign up for it every fucking day.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this game is not easy, man. If this shit was easy, everybody would be rich and famous. You know, that's some shit that Flow Rider told me. Flow Rider was like, man, shit is not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be successful. Everybody would be rich. You know, it's not
I
easy.
like it that way too, because it allows people like me and you to stand out from the crowd.
Right.
Yeah, it's like 5 years from now, I could bet my fucking balls that you'll still be doing what you do.
Right. And another reason is because we've put our whole entire life into this shit. Like, we done put way too much into this just to turn back and say, oh, you know, let me try something else. Like,
What would your advice be to someone coming up that was, let's say they're young and their parents want them to have a plan B? How do you feel about a plan B?
I think having a plan B is always smart. I never really had a plan B, but I think also not having a plan B, I can't remember who said this. I think it was Will Smith or somebody saying that if you have a plan B, then you're not setting yourself up to win. You know, you have room for doubts if you do have a plan B. But I think having a plan B is very smart. But like I said, I feel like there's also good sides to not having a plan B, because it just makes you go that much harder. Like,
Right. Yeah, that's what I was. I guess I'm kind of not kind. I'm against Plan B. I didn't have a Plan B. You said you didn't have a Plan B, and our Plan A worked. But most people that I talk to that are trying to like over analyze and overthink their decisions and shit, and they're trying to have a Plan B and a Plan C, and they're waiting for this right moment to happen. It never happens, and it never works out for people like that.
yeah, I think what fuels me is my biggest fear is not making it in this, you know, and failing at this. And I think that's what fuels me and what drives me so much every day is like, I know how upset I'll be later on in the future, you know, if I don't do these things now. Like, I feel like that's the worst feeling, is growing up, being older and regretting some shit that you ain't do, that you can't never get back. You can't never do that. Like, time is the most valuable thing in this life. Yeah, that's my worst fear, is being older and regretting, you know, my life. Like, damn, I wish I did this. I wish I would have spent this extra money on this video. I wish I would have tried. That's my worst fear. Like, I don't wanna end up in that position. That's why I go so hard, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, I finally realized the other day. So let's say, let's say tomorrow, I planned on linking up with you, filming this beat making video and finishing 2 beats or something. And let's say it went bad to where a video doesn't even come out of it and we didn't finish a beat. I'm like, I get in extreme depression for like the next 6 hours and I can't shake it. And I'll know in my head that I shouldn't feel like this and I should brush it off and continue my day. But it's like this something that takes over me and I can't, like this depression, and I can't get over it. And the other day I finally like realized what it was, and it was, I was explaining it to my girl. I said, Imagine if we went to the casino right now and we lost like $1,000. That feeling, like picture that feeling right there of like your stomach, right? And you're like, oh man, like I just lost like it just kind of sucks the life out of you in the next like 4 to 6 hours or so, or the day. You just feel like you lost out on that much money. That's how I am now with the time. I realize that my time is so limited. So if I set aside that time and I planned on linking with you and the outcome was going to be this video and these few beats and it doesn't go well, and then it's like, yeah, technically maybe I'll have time in the next 2 weeks and we could try again, but bro, I just lost out on that time and this was supposed to happen. So I feel that same feeling of, once you continue to work and continue to grow over time, your you can actually look at your time and say an hour of my life is equal to this dollar amount. So it is similar to losing $1,000 at the casino by having something not go the way you thought it was going to be, and now you didn't get that thing out of it that you wanted to get out of it, if that makes any sense.
Now I feel the same way, man. It happens very rarely, but when it does happen, and I don't, I'm not satisfied with my work or something doesn't go right, which, like I said, is very rarely. But when it does discourage me and it bothers me.
Even just like it could be a regular Thursday for you or a Wednesday, and let's say it's around midnight, and you're thinking like, we don't have a job, we don't have a boss, so we're in control of what we do every day. And I'll have some days where I'm thinking back and I'm like, yo, all that I have to show for today was this. Like I lost. Today beat me. Fuck this shit. I have to do this, and this now. Like I can't go to sleep until this is done so I can at least feel somewhat accomplished.
Yeah, I mean, we beating ourselves up at the end of the day, but it's also necessary as well. Because like you said, we're our own boss. You're your own manager. I'm my own manager. So I gotta constantly stay on my own ass about, just like if I had an employee and I had to stay on his ass. So we
Yeah.
definitely we're hard on ourselves, but it's definitely necessary being
Right.
completely independent and being your own boss and knowing how to, like you said, prioritize your time.
Yeah. With when you mentioned having an employee, so with all the different things that you do in your day to day, like if you were to get out some paper and a pen and you wrote down everything that you do to make your business work, whether it's okay, what do? You make beats, you mix beats, you make content, you edit the content, you post the content, you interact with people, um, record and mix songs, all the different, like the list goes on. And so putting the boss hat on, you then have to value, okay, what are the things that are high level tasks that only you can do? And then now what are some simple things that maybe we could free up some of your time, pay someone else to do, and we're more efficient. We're thinking smarter and being more effective with our time. And that's where I'm at now too, where with a lot of my businesses, I'm finally at that point where now I'm expanding and hiring people and getting employees
Yeah, I
because
seen that. That's what's up. I seen you hired a couple of engineers and stuff.
thank you, man. And that just came down to business 101 is supply and demand. When I noticed, hey, where I make the most money is these things. When I do studio time, that's not my real money maker, but it's decent. At the time it was $50 an hour. I'm thinking I don't really have time to do these $100, $200 an hour video type stuff because I'm tied to this $50 an hour studio thing. So it's like if you have a job, but your side hustle you make more money. And let's say your boss, your job is like, yo, we need you to work 20 hours of overtime. You're gonna be like, I honestly need to work part time because I'm making so much money on the side. And that's what happened with studio time. Right when my studio opened back up, uh, I usually only do about at this time like 20 hours a week of studio time. And so I just turned down, which isn't a good business move, but I'm turning down or telling people, yeah, I'll schedule you in 3 weeks, or just people are scheduling out a lot because there's only so many hours that I was available because I'm doing all these other things. And once I started getting people to book sessions off of my website that didn't know who crackalack was, that just seen a pretty studio and wanted to record and mix a song, it's like, hey, I don't have to be here. I can hire someone else, pay them good money, and still make money from owning the studio and operating it. And I can go do the other stuff where I can make more money. So now that's thinking smarter and, like working smart. And I'm at the same thing with my CD duplication where I literally sit there in my basement for, let's say, 2 to 4 hours every single day. And I pick up a CD, put it in a case, put the cover in, close it. Pick up a CD, put it. I do that over and over 500 to 1,500 times a day. And I can't promote that business because if I did, it'll work and I'll be in my basement for 6 or 8 hours a day. So where I'm at is I that's good. That's a good problem to have. Some businesses bad problems and good problems. That's a great problem to have. Now I just need more space to get an employee or two in there, and then I can actually focus on expanding the business, and I can go do the other things, and I can pay them to sit there and put the CD in the case, close it, and take the orders to the post office, things like that, like the day-to-day things with the business. You know, like even with you making beats is probably if you had to look at your okay in 1 hour. Let's say there was there's not a gun to your head, but if there was a gun to your head, and you had to think how many beats can you put out in like 4 hours, and then of those beats, how much do you how much could you easily sell each beat for? And it's hundreds of dollars. Okay, so if you're speaking in third person and you're like, how can Gold Rush bring in as the company bring in more money? Hey, we need Gold Rush making beats 4 hours a day for sure because we're making a lot of money right there. Let's maybe expand and get someone to do the mixing so that way he has more time to do the beats. If that's where most of your money was. You know.
Yeah, prioritizing, man, it's definitely important. You know what I notice? The older that I get, the more I've been focusing on my priorities and prioritizing. Like I used to just like I see you have a vision board where you draw all your to dos for the day and then you X them out when you get them done.
Yeah.
I do the same thing, but in my phone. I also have a vision board, but my shit's so filled up I can't write on it. So I just write on my. I have a notepad in my phone,
Mhm.
and that's where I put all my to dos for the day. I also have fucking 1,000 other things that are still saved in there that I want to do. But like I said, I used to just write a whole bunch of shit that I need to do, I need to get done, and then I would just kind of cherry pick and be like, okay, I feel like doing this one now. I feel like doing this one now. The older I get, I find myself kind of going through the list like, okay, what is the most important shit that I need to do? Like
Yeah.
forget about what's gonna be fun and I'm going to enjoy doing. What is the most important things that need to get done first and the order that I should get them done in order to prioritize my time the best.
Yeah. That's been my whole 2020 is just prioritizing and getting even better at the whole time management. Later on today, I'm gonna get this. Well, I already got it, a white poster board, and what I'm doing is in the center, I'm writing crackalack, and then I'm gonna draw a line and write, okay, what are all the different things that I do? So beats. So I'm gonna draw a line off, write beats. Then I'm gonna draw lines all around the beats, like, okay, what are the different things that I do with beats to make money? Okay, website beat leases. Okay, I'm gonna draw that off beats. Custom beats that goes off of there. I'm gonna set up a beat funnel. It's been forever. Still haven't done that. Right beat funnel. How else can I
Yeah,
make?
that's on my list too. That's one of the ones
Yeah,
on my list that I ain't get to yet.
yeah. So the main thing, I just want to like map out all the different things that I do, and then all the different streams of income, and then okay, each of these things, how can these be scaled in like I guess doing bigger and better and running ads or marketing and promoting these services because where I've been for the last I don't know how many years 4 or 5 years is I can't promote what I do because I don't have time. Like there's no room for there's there's room for expansion, but there's not like time for expansion. So that's where it's a good problem again to have, because now let me hire people to help with this process, you know? Yeah.
I got two questions. Out of you making beats, I'm not gonna say rapper because you don't rap no more, but making beats, engineering, mixing, mastering, shooting videos, editing, what is your favorite thing to do? Like, what do you enjoy the most? If you could only had to focus on one thing, what would it be?
I would say the first thing to go would be recording and mixing songs. My favorite thing to do is probably, it's almost like a 50-50 tie between beats and video stuff. Like I just love creating content, and I think that outside of like getting paid to shoot music videos,
Here go this fucking fly again. Every time I do a show, I got this crazy fly that's fucking flying around. My bad. All right, he just landed on the screen. All right, forget about him.
but yeah, I would say it's probably like a tie between beats and video stuff. But if I had to pick one, I would say video work, because there's just so many different, I guess, avenues that go into video work. Like you can make money. So I obviously make money shooting music videos, filming weddings, filming commercials for businesses. But then what goes into video as well is like doing my own uh, branding content, doing vlogs, doing beat making videos, filming tutorials. When a year to 2 years from now, those can be nice streams of income from putting out good, helpful content that lures people in to become part of your audience. And so then as your audience grows, brands see that you have an audience. And so then say a company like Sony is like, yo, we got a camera coming out. Crackalack, we see that you have a bunch of videographers that are in your audience that watch your videos and look up to you. We need you to talk about our Sony camera. We're going to pay you X amount, send you the camera, and we want you to show it off. Like, so that's when stuff like that happens. And so that's my focus for like next year, is for that to be a big part of my income.
Wouldn't that be an influencer?
Yeah, pretty much it is all it really is just, it's kind of showing that you're an authority in a certain niche. And so with me, the hard part about expanding with me is I have to kind of separate my audience, because I'm a hot pink unicorn, just like you. You know, you're not just, hey, who's Gold Rush? Oh, he makes beats, and you're like, well, I'm actually a artist too, and a damn good one at that. And as a matter of fact, I'm actually a engineer and a damn good one at that. So you can't just put a tag on me and say I'm a producer. So the same thing with me, with a lot of influencers and YouTube channels that blow up, they like specialize in one thing. Like they're the camera guy, so all they talk about is camera shit. The next guy, he's the producer guy, all he does is make beats. Then, you know, stuff like that. And so with me, it's like, hey, in this video I'm talking to my camera guys and it's all about filming shit. But then the next video I'm making a beat, and so the camera guys don't care about the beat shit. So you could then have multiple channels and stuff. But I seen a video with Gary. Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, the only thing that sucks is just then all of the active subscribers are getting notifications. And so if they're not interested in like the next video that you upload, they're ignoring it, and it sends like negative signs or negative signals to YouTube, which could hurt you in the long run. But I like, let's say there's a producer out there that doesn't give a fuck about camera stuff, but the next video that I upload tonight is going to be how to edit a music video. So his phone is going to go off, he's going to get a notification, and he's going to ignore it and not watch it because he don't care about the filming stuff. He only cares about the beat stuff. That's sending a signal that, hey, this was one person that was notified about your video and they didn't watch it. So like YouTube pays attention to that stuff. That's why I think it's a really good idea that you're starting a brand new channel, just the podcast stuff.
Man, there's a lot of weird ass fucking shit going on with YouTube and Facebook now too, man. With all of these damn like how they're deleting certain posts, like it's pretty much what they feel needs to be taken down. They just delete it. Like if you're talking about anything with this pandemic stuff and all of this crazy stuff, you notice a lot of posts being flagged for false information and YouTube's being deleted. You seen they deleted David Icke completely off of YouTube. I don't know if you're familiar with David Icke.
I don't know who he is, but I did see something to do with the COVID stuff. It was like a doctor
But
documentary thing.
basically, David Icke is a conspiracy theorist. He's been a conspiracy theorist for like the past 30 years, and he's been pretty on point with his predictions and his philosophies and his theories. And basically, they just completely deplatformed him on all platforms, and he
Oh
had like a
shit.
million subscribers.
YouTube even did it?
Yeah, YouTube deleted his whole account, Facebook, Vimeo, they took everything down. And then he did an interview with London Real, which is another blog
Yeah.
type of website. I mean, it's like a podcast type of thing where they talk about news. They took his video down when David Icke was a guest on his show as well. They broke the live stream record for YouTube that day. I think they did like over a million live watchers. I don't remember the exact number, but they broke the record that day for the amount of live streams and watchers they had on YouTube.
Man, that's insane.
Yeah, I just think it's weird, man. It just feels like our country and just the world is becoming almost like communistic, like the way that they're able to just like tell you what they're able to control what you see and what you don't see.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's
I
a
mean, they've all,
little off subject from the music thing we were talking about, but I just think it's crazy what's going on right now with the control of information.
right.
But yeah, the second question I wanted to ask you too is, do you spend money on ads, and how much do you spend a month, and what do you spend them on? Are you advertising your videos, your beats? Like, what is your ad running process each month?
Yeah, so that's what's gonna happen over these next few months is it's gonna be a lot because what I was saying earlier with a good problem in business is I actually can't afford to run ads because I'm already booked. So it'd be like if a barbershop was booked back to back appointments and they're booked out a month. They wouldn't even it'd be pointless for them to run ads to promote their barbershop. Like it's already maxed out at the moment. So what they would do is say, okay, we're gonna one, raise our prices, two, we're gonna get more barbers in here, and maybe three, we're gonna open up a whole second barbershop. Now we have room for improvement, room for growth. Now let's actually run some ads. Because in business, you want to be running ads. You should be running ads. And my problem is I can't run ads because I'm already booked, So, but how I got to doing that was from running ads, obviously putting in work, being good at what you do. But then once you start putting ad power behind it, some getting Facebook on your team and Instagram on your team, you can really reach a lot of people. It's like taking steroids. So if you're good at what you say, you're a producer out there, an engineer out there, an artist out there, and you're good at what you do, you have an image, it's like you're in a good position. That's kind of like if you eat good and you take care of yourself and exercise and shit. But then once you start taking steroids, it's like takes it to a whole nother level. And the same thing with like running ads. So I remember to get out when I was relying on my home small poor city at that, to make a living off of like when I was doing music videos, they were like $300 music videos, and everyone I'm talking to from other cities is like $800,000, $1,500, $2,000, and I'm like, comparing the videos, and a lot of those customers were reaching out and stuff. So I'm thinking, okay, how do I attract the customers that I want to book me? So I get on Facebook, I put together like this is like my 2017 director's reel. It was just footage maybe like 2 to 3 seconds from each music video that I shot the year prior, and it was like a 2 to 3 minute video. I probably shot 100 music videos the year before, and it just said something like, Are you looking to book a music video? If so, like send me a message. Pricing starts at this price or something like that." And man, what did I do? $5 or $10 a day, and it was like every day I just started getting flooded with inboxes. Yo, how much do you charge for this? Are you available this day? And that's what got me from doing $200-$300 videos to like $500-$600-$700 videos within like a week. It was just like an overnight switch. Boom. These guys are, yeah, by doing ads and attracting the people that I wanted. Yeah. Yeah, so it wasn't doing like the boost post. But boost, okay, so once you go to the back end of the Facebook ad manager, you'll see all these different, I think there's 9 different options, like campaign objectives. And there's like brand awareness, reach, engagement, video views, traffic ads, conversion ads, lead generation, all this stuff. By default, if you just boost a post, it's going for engagement. So it's gonna, Facebook has all these trigger points on every single one of us. That's why it's free, because we're giving them all of our information. If you're into the Detroit Lions, a lot of, and you like that stuff, when you go to your Explore page or when you're scrolling through Facebook, you're probably going to get targeted with some Detroit Lions stuff. You know, like my dad, he's into tractors. I'm sure if I get on his Facebook, there's going to be some sort of John Deere ads. And same thing, guys, if you're into big booty girls on your Explore page, you're probably going to see a lot of big booty girls. And what was I getting at? Yeah, so by default, if you just boost a post, it's going to target people that like and comment and share. But if you really want people to actually click a link and go buy something or go to a website or go to YouTube and watch the video, your objective should be link or traffic ads. Traffic ads are targeting people that click links to go places. Yes, it's very in depth. It's very complicated. I've probably spent well over 1,000 to 2,000 hours just like consuming content based around it, experimenting, spending thousands of dollars, learning from it, seeing what works, seeing doesn't work. So now from doing that, I'm in a position where I can say, hey, I not fully figured it out where I cracked the code, but I know more about running ads than 95% of the people out there. So unless you're like a social media marketing expert, then you probably know more than me. But a lot of companies, I've even just to experiment, let's say I'm going through Instagram and there's a story like, swipe up to triple your growth. I'll end up doing the free phone call with the people, and as I'm telling them what I'm already doing, they're like, yeah, so that's what we were going to do for you, and we charge $5,000-$6,000 a month. So at that point, that's why like learning it yourself, being self-efficient, then you don't rely on these guys. And let's say a marketing company out there charges you $3,000 a month, $4,000 a month. I would say about 50 to 60% is going to go towards the actual ads, and 40 to 50% is going to go in their pocket. So if you're doing it yourself, 100% goes towards ads and reaching new people.
Right. Yeah, I just recently started fucking with Facebook ads, creating them in the ads manager like a little over a year ago. Mm-hmm. And I've spent all different types of budgets and tried it all different types of ways, just like how you did, just trying to crack the code. And I kind of feel like I done figured it out now to how I know it works for me. I know before that I was just doing boosting a lot, but it definitely helps. Like you can get really, really detailed, and like Crack is saying, like, if you pay somebody else to do it, they got to make something off of it. So part of that money is going to be going in their pocket. So if you can learn how to do this shit yourself, you can target it exactly how you want to. All your money is going to be going into it exactly how you want it to be. And I definitely feel like it's very important to be running Facebook ads, whether you're an artist, a producer, a director, a model, whatever it might be. If you got a product, it definitely works. Don't mind me, Crack. The finishing this smoothie over here. By the way, when you was down here and you brought me the Smoothie King, that's the first time I ever tried Smoothie King.
And since then, you've been back?
Yeah, I've been back there a few times. I actually had my damn wisdom teeth pulled, so I couldn't really eat shit for like 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, so I started going there and getting the little protein shakes and shit.
Yeah.
Getting the mango, whatever the mango, they had like a green mango smoothie. That shit was good. But yeah, I've been hitting that bitch up.
Yeah, shout out to Smoothie King. I was gonna say another cheat code is just paying, like, we both. I'm sure everyone, you see them every day where they're like, "Hey, do you want to figure out how I do this, this, and this? Swipe up to learn how." And it's like our brains are programmed to be like, "Oh no, they're trying to sell us something." Nope, 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 not me. You ain't gonna get me. But a lot of it is, I guess, what I was getting at with the ads. Like, I've spent thousands of hours. I've been obsessed with it. I've spent tens and hundreds of, maybe not 100,000, but I've spent tens of thousands of dollars experimenting with it, and I've figured some shit out. So if I wanted to package that and sell it, say, hey, for $200, I'll walk you through from start to finish how to do ads. Like, that's worth that $200. It's like, I'm gonna save you thousands of hours and tens of thousands of dollars, and I'll just tell it to you for $200. And so there's lots of those out there where there's courses, $100 course, $500 course, $2,000 course. I would just say to people out there, don't be afraid of investing and learning something, because it's actually it gets you from point A to like point D. So instead of taking 2 years to go from point A to point B, then point B to point C, then point C to point D, hey, just spend a little bit of money, learn from someone who's already done it and figured it out so he can teach it to you. And yeah, you go from point A to point D overnight.
Yeah, man, definitely invest in yourself, man. You'll never lose investing in yourself.
That kind of came from, I was talking to an artist. I kept seeing these like Spotify ads, but it wasn't like, the playlist scam thing. It was like dudes, with screenshots. I built my Spotify to over 100,000 monthly listeners, and this is how I did it. You want to learn how today for $30? I'll give you my course. And again, I'm talking to the artist and I'm saying, I get it. You're thinking like, you're salesman mode or salesman mode. You ain't gonna sell me on it. You're not gonna get me. And I was telling them, but think about it. Like, if he did it, he figured it out, he's seen it worked. Now he's thinking, shit, not only can I have my music career, how we were talking about earlier, artists should do more than just be a rapper. So he turned into, hey, he didn't need to make his own beats or record and mix his own songs, or he didn't know how to do those things, but he did figure out how to promote his own music, which that's a whole nother skill in itself. So he's like, okay, I got my artist career going, and now I'm gonna also start my artist. I'm gonna target other artists and make money by showing them how I market my music.
Just like Snoop said, the game is to be sold and not to be told. Shout out Snoop and No Limit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another reason I be dropping them jewels, man. I got the jewel of the day where, I'm dropping jewels on them and I'm not charging them, but I definitely been thinking about doing something similar to what you're just talking about now, where I kind of put my own little courses together.
Yeah.
With the little prices, and I feel like I'm getting to a point now to where people are like, okay, they're not getting that vibe from me, like how you saying most people, like, if they're seeing you for the first time and you already trying to sell them some shit, they're gonna definitely look at you sideways. So I feel like I'm getting to the point now that I'm building my organic fan base, and I've been dropping my jewels of the day, just dropping free jewels. Now I'm in the position to where I can finally drop something like that, to where they're like, okay, I done watched his videos. He knows what he's talking about. It makes sense. Maybe I will spend this $50 or this $100 with him to learn this course, whatever it might be.
Yeah, it's like that jab, jab, hook, or jab, 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 hook concept. And like, you giving out a free jewel of the day. That's a jab. And then another jab, then another jab. And then you finally throw a hook, and that's when you have something for sale. But let's say I learned something from yesterday you put out some shit for free, giving advice like, yo, thank you, you helped me out with that. That was free advice. And say today you do the same thing. Or next week you do it. And over time it's like, yo, you've helped me in so many ways. Now you have something for sale that's $100. Like I almost feel like I owe you that. Even if I didn't use it. Like you've helped me in so many ways. I owe you whatever the fuck you're selling.
Hey, by the way, if any of my followers, any Cracks followers, any of our followers, y'all want to ask us, or not ask us, but if you have a specific thing that you want to learn and master, that you know that we have the knowledge of, let us know what it is. Let us know what type of courses that you want from either me or crackalack, so we could work on that and we could put that out and provide it to y'all.
Yeah.
By the way, let them know where to follow you at and all your platforms and all that.
Yeah, so cracker_lack on Instagram, crackalack TV on YouTube, crackalack on Facebook, crackalack on Twitter. The podcast is Free Game with Crack. That's on Spotify. It's also on YouTube. And then other than that, any artists that are looking to actually book a music video or contact me about anything, it's crackalackmusic@gmail.com. In one of my podcasts, I brought you up with the whole Flow Rider situation where that's what for so many years, man, I felt, a product of my environment, and I wanted to make my environment a product of me. And I'm in this small city where low price everything, and I wanted to get out of that. So my best friend lives down in Florida. I'm going to visit him. And I remember the first time just Googling like Deerfield, Florida rappers, Miami rappers, and I'm trying to like DM all these different people. Um, there was a mutual friend between the two of us that like reached out to you and was like, "Yo, you need to work with this guy or me," and then reached out to me, told me I need to work with you. Me and you both were doing similar things, so you were like, I'm saying, yeah, I'm trying to get my beats out here. You're like, I make my own beats. I'm like, okay, well, I also do recording and mixing. I do my own recording and mixing. Like, all right, well, maybe we can just meet each other one day. We can hang out and make a beat together and kind of go from there. Well, one thing that I do is music videos, so maybe I can do a video for you. And I think that led to you reaching out, and you brought me to Flow Rider Studio. But like me going to Flow Rider Studio was one of the first out of town, out of state musical accomplishments in my career. So that's why it's so important to document your journey, because if there was no footage or pictures or anything from that night, it wouldn't have helped me at all. But from bringing the camera, and then I think you took a picture with my phone of me standing there in front of them plaques, posted the picture, and this is where like perception is a motherfucker, and it's not quite fake it till you make it, because like we really were there, we really were working, we really did make some beats, no false to it. But for me posting a picture on social media at Flow Rider Studio in front of all these plaques, showing people that I was down there and I was actually doing something productive. I didn't ask to pay for a tour of the studio and stop and take a picture. Like, no, we were actually there working, and posted that picture on social media, hundreds of likes, people hit me up, bro, I already know you got some beats, when you get back in town I need studio time, when you get back in town I need videos. Like, just from posting that picture and showing people that I was doing something productive, that I had found some sort of success out of town, out of state, again, perception's a motherfucker. It cranked business up, and so I learned from that.
Clout.
And so
That
clout, man. From that point forward, it was like, yo, I need to do this every month. Every month I need to go somewhere. So if you're watching this right now, listening to this, think about what relatives, family members, friends, people you grew up with that live in another city or state. Reach out to them, see if you can go stay with them for a weekend, stay with them for a few days. While you're in town out there, book a studio session somewhere. How we're talking about providing value. Like, maybe if you do the camera shit, you can reach out to a local rapper, local producer, ask if you can link up with them in the studio, get some pictures of them, get some video footage of them. Just do something productive musically for your music career in another city or state, and then your hometown that may probably not support you right now. They're gonna see that you're accepted outside. So then they're gonna be more welcoming. They're gonna be like, oh, yo, I see you doing your thing out there. When you come back, we love you. When you come back, we support you. Now, when you share your shit, we're gonna actually listen. That's what happens. It's like the people, your hometown is gonna support you last.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I noticed that, like, but yeah, man, clout, image, perception, it definitely matters. Like, and just being around success and being around big artists and labels, like, that's where all of my achievements and all of my placements came from. Like, me starting off being with Trick Daddy. I met Trick Daddy through Trick Daddy's dad, through Pops. His name's Pops. That's what what we know him down here as, which led to me meeting Trick Daddy's brother Chuck, which led to me meeting Trick Daddy, which led to me signing to them as an artist and a producer, which led to me featuring and writing on his lead single Bet That, and then leading to me producing and writing half of the album. And then that led to me producing on Plies album and Ace Hood album and DJ Khaled album, and just working over that Flow Rider studio. Shout out to Flow Rider, by the way. Shout out to Freezy. Shout out to Strong Arm. Shout out to E-Class, Chuck, all them boys. By me being in certain places like that, like I was at Flow Riders, I got to make a couple beats with Manny Fresh. Like that shit was crazy because I grew up listening to Cash Money. Manny Fresh just happened to come through. He was with Juvenile. I got to meet Juvenile. And me and Manny Fresh like literally whipped up 2 beats from scratch. And I got to work with him. I got to meet Young Buck there. I got to meet Sean J from Field Mob there. I got to meet Kodak Black there. Like I actually worked with Kodak Black by just being in there. And like we were just saying, you got to make yourself valuable. The only reason I was in there is because I was valuable by being there. I was valuable by being a producer, an engineer. I can record, I can mix, I can master. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be there because, yeah, I'm an artist, but they weren't necessarily interested in me as an artist. And that's another reason why I've been over at Strong Arm the whole time. I haven't been pushing myself as an artist like, yo, check out my music. I showed them my music a couple times, dropped some CDs here and there, drop a couple hints, you know what I'm saying? But they have artists there, and I was more valuable as a producer and an engineer. So that's what, I was focusing on by being there. But my point is, who you hang around is who you become. If you hang around a bunch of bum-ass motherfuckers, you're going to become a bum-ass motherfucker too. If you're hanging around with rich motherfuckers that's hustling and making money and they making moves, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be one of them dudes running right with them, making them same type of moves. So that's the jewel of the day right here inside of this show that I'm going to drop. Quick little jewel for y'all. But I think I done touched on everything I could touch on. I don't, I don't know what else you got. I think this definitely a dope ass podcast. I think a lot of people going to enjoy it, and there's a lot of valuable information and knowledge and jewels that we done dropped.
Definitely, man. Yeah, let me know once it comes out or anything you need from me. Count me in. For
sure. So yeah, man, we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna get you back on the show sometime in the near future, man. But I appreciate you being on the show. It's the GoldMighne. Shout out that boy Crackalack. Soy sauce. Yeah. Paint the city gold. You want to tell them anything before you sign out?
Crackalack on the track. I don't have nothing cool like soy sauce, man. Soy sauce.
We got to come up with a slogan for you.
It's crack. I gotta find a crackhead. I'm gonna pay a crackhead to yell, "It's crack."
We gonna end it like this, man. Soy sauce. Paint the city gold. We out. The GoldMighne.
The GoldMighne.